What's your North Star?
I believe that poverty can be interrupted, and the best interrupter is education. You cannot expect children to learn at high levels if they come in hungry and tired. And so we remove those barriers. So the barrier of food, we have a food pantry and we give out 8,000 pounds of food a month. The healthcare, if a child breaks an arm, come to school. We have a pediatrician there. I mean, so it's really understanding the needs of the community and then meeting those needs. That's what every child deserves. They deserve the very best.
A lot of times, though, when people raise these kinds of these ideas, you hear people say, well, teachers are there to teach. They're not social workers. Did you hear that? And what did you say?
We spend a lot of time building relationships. We change how we serve people. Recently, we just did a poverty simulation where many of our teachers were placed in poverty for what felt like an entire week. And many were ready to give up before the week was out. And so this idea of first training those that you're serving so that they understand the barriers that poverty creates. And so with building those relationships first, our teachers, they want our children to succeed. They really do. And we've given them a path to make that happen, serving the underserved.
I appreciate your desire to share credit, but I'm still want to hear more about Tiffany Anderson. And I just still want to understand what's the source of this vision for you.
I live in Kansas, and so I drive about 4 hours every other day to work. And I often listen to books on tape and sermons. And I most enjoy, Martin Luther King and listening to his old sermons. And there's one where he quotes John Donne. And the piece that he quotes, he talks about, I can't do well unless you do well, and you can't do well unless I do well. So until we see ourselves as interconnected individuals, change can't happen. My role as a teacher is to teach other ways to approach people. It's to teach how to break barriers. And so even now with Jennings, I suspect people will say it's not replicable. We can replicate this at any scale we choose if it is important enough to us to make it happen.
So, my first question is, how does the disparity of wealth between the white and black communities lead to difficulties in pursuing a college degree for a black kid?
Yeah, so the difficulties emerge early on when you start school. For example, whatever school you go to, if it's typically if it's in a community that's low income and black, the schools are not well resourced because property taxes tend to fund the school itself, and so property taxes are based off of the households and the income that people have within those households and the surrounding communities. So if you live in the ghetto, if you live in the hood, or if you live in the projects, or you live in an area without a strong tax base, then your textbooks are gonna look raggedy, and your technology at the school is gonna be subpar. You're gonna be rocking Windows XP while everybody else has Mac OS X 10 out there in West County. And so